Welcome everyone to the afternoon session of the Blueprint for Peace for Humanity. It's Friday, July 7th, 2017. And I believe we're going to have a special presentation this afternoon. And I think we can begin that right away here. Someone help me as far as what we are presenting here and who will be doing it. It's one of our panelists. So I think we have someone coming in.
Our panelist, I believe, is Charles, and who's going to show us, at least that was my understanding, showing us how he used the waters to feed himself.
Thank you, Libby. That's a good description. I see Charles is in here now. And you want to go ahead, Charles, and launch into this? Can you hear us okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, hi.
Hi, Rick. Well, long time no talking with you. Okay, yeah. Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience of drinking plasma water to replacing the 3 meals a day for about half a year now, I think. Okay. And
yes, please go ahead. Do you have something you want to share with the screen share or video, or do you want to just talk with this background?
I think just talk in the background would be a better way or convenient way for me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I'm very glad to be able to have this opportunity to come here and to share my experience with everybody, following Mr. Keshe, the very beautiful technology that will bring peace and equality to the humanity. So, and also thank everybody who with Mr. Keshe doing all of these things for so many years. I myself learned a lot during the process. And so I'm very grateful for everything everybody do together. And my experience actually started in about 2015. I think it was in about November in 2015 for about 20 days without almost without eating anything. Every day just drinking the plasma water. At that time, I used a double-walled cup. And inside the double wall, I used CO2 Gans and CH3 Gans, put it inside it. And to seal it, and then just pour in the hot water into it. And just by drinking that water, and whenever I pour the hot water into that double-walled cup, I can see there are a lot of bubbles, very tiny bubbles generated inside the double wall. And when I drink those waters, I feel just don't need to eat much or eat anything. But during that time, for those 20 days, in the evening, I will drink some Coca-Cola juice. And that was the whole thing that I drink for that period of time. And for I think in the 15 days, I can understand that this is a workable, a practical way of eating, because there is no some other not very good experience in my body. And at around about the 20 days, I stopped about experiencing in this way, because at that time I was working with my colleagues, and during because of the characteristics of our work, we have to have a lot of guests each and every day coming into our. Actually, we have also a research group. I have different prototypes for people to watch. So when people come into our place, we will always have some dinners or lunch to entertain them. So I do not at that time not in a position to be act as an very strange, everybody just sit around and eating everything, and I do not eat anything. I think it's not a good way to do things like that. So I stopped doing that at that time for about 20 days. But at that time, I know that actually we really do not need to eat 3 meals a day every day to give our energy for everyday living. And I think at this time, I started at around the 6th of December 2016, and started the whole experience again, because this time I myself have the opportunity to take charge of everything. So I do not have to work with my follow or my other friend to work together. So everything I can do whatever I like. So at that under those circumstances, I can to do this kind of thing. That is just drinking water and without eat the 3 meals a day. And generally, I can say it is a very good experience, the whole process. But I will tell about the whole process a little bit later. First, I will first introduce myself. I'm sorry for such a long time before introducing myself. Actually, my English name is Charles, and my nickname on the internet is roaming around the world. I think at in the beginning, or at the beginning of my interpreting or translating Mr. Keshe technology into China, I think I started translating or interpreting everything into China about the Keshe technology around 2011. There is a very famous presentation in the 26th of November as Eindhoven presentation. And after I watched that video, I was, shocked by the powerful energy, powerful technology Mr. Keshe brought to us, and also the wonderful future that awaits mankind. So I just translate or make the subtitles of that video into Chinese, and then cooperate with one of the websites and to publish that in the Chinese internet. And there are more than, I think, totally more than 1 million or 1.5 million viewers watching that video. A lot of people in China getting to know Mr. Keshe technology through that video. I made a new name for that presentation called in Chinese is something like the road to free energy. Because at that time I'm very interested in free energy, so I got that title for that presentation, and a lot of people watched that video. So a lot of people got very interested at the time about the cache technology. And along the ways, I've been translating and interpreting with a group of our Chinese friends in China, all the way to up to the present time. Almost every workshop, the Chinese group here back in China, been translating it back into Chinese for the ordinary people to learn, to watch, to research, and to develop this technology. Actually, a lot of people learn a lot from this technology. Also, as important as the technology is the ethos, or the way the people should or elevate the people's soul. I think the most important things for the ordinary people to learn about technology is to first understand the fundamental principles of using this technology in a peaceful way. That is, people will have a broad mind to treat everybody equally without the thinking that because of you know something more, that you are superior than some other people. Okay, and also have the intention to serve the people unconditionally, not to steal, not to kill, and to live peacefully among everybody on this planet around, and also beyond this planet into. Okay, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, go on. And so during these years, I, as well as my friend or colleagues back in China, learned a whole lot of knowledge and the way these things should be done. And we formed different groups in China, because in China we have a lot of provinces and cities. So right now in China, I think there are more than 30 or 40 different groups in different cities in China. They've been doing different kind of experiments using plasma technology, and a lot of people benefited a lot. Even though during the process of about this year, 2017, we started in about 2012, about 5 years. During the process of 5 years, some of the people dropped out actually, and have a lot of misunderstandings or not believe it, or even some words, those kind of sayings or words, not very good. But for those people who have been going along the way and experiencing up and downs of everything Mr. Keshe and Keshe Foundation experienced, and I think we have a lot of very strong, a lot of people who believe deeply about this technology practicality, about its effectiveness. And actually, people experience it by themselves about the effectiveness of this technology. It is because it is very much like the Chinese qi. That we have qi gong in China. When I was a young boy, I think about 1980s or something like that, or 80, not in 90, I think 80s. There are a lot of people doing this kind of practice. And I myself have been experienced that very sensitive. When I put my hand in front of me, just by even not even do not need to close my eyes. Even though if I close my eyes, it will be even more apparent or obvious to sense there is a ball of qi, that is air ball inside my hand. So when I release or open up my hand, I can feel there is a ball of air ball, okay, expanding slowly and outward. And when I close my hand, and I can feel there is a very strong pressure of air to resist my hand from going inward. So at the very small age, I have this belief, because it is not belief, because it is my own experience. I know the existence of qi around my body. So I'm very interested. The first time when I heard about Mr. Keshe talk about this technology, but at that time, I did not link these two things together. That is, at the first time when I learned about this plasma technology, I just do not have any idea of what is plasma, because I have to do a lot of translation. I just know that plasma is a kind of a gravitational magnetic field interaction. The two entities, they both have gravitational magnetic fields, and when these two things interact together, and they will have a kind of plasma running inside or between them. But I have no idea that this kind of phenomena have any relation with the qi around our body or inside our body. I think it was just for the experience of my drinking these waters, I began gradually understand about it, and also learn from my friends and colleagues, and also people around the world, especially Armin. Some other day, he talk about a kind of teaching. Just I learned a lot from your plasma reactor group teaching. I think there is a teaching the other day. Armin presented a kind of teaching talking about the difference between matter, nanomaterial, and Gans. And actually, Mr. Keshe already talked about these things before, but I do not have the very deep impression about that. But after Aman talk about it in a very slow way, Aman talking something very slow, so it's very easy for me to understand about that. And I began to understand that actually everything all have plasma, and in the matter state, the plasma or the qi is being squeezed very, very tightly, so it cannot radiate outwards. But in the Gans state, after the nano state, the single or monoatomic structure, the plasma inside the atoms can be radiated outward. So in nano states, it is also still in a controlled manner, a structured controlled manner. But in the Gans state, it is a singular, or it's free individual. Actually, it's a monoatomic structure, even though there are maybe even larger with some other energy pack grouped together. But it can radiate out the energy. One is outward, one is inward, just like a sun. Mr. Keshe always talk about it. And once I understand all of these things, actually it's very easy to understand this technology. This is very, very simple technology. It's the simplest technology in this world. It will make life in this world very simple. Actually, people really do not have to lead a very complicated life or sophisticated life. You don't need that, and you will have very happy, very friendly, and without any worry. This kind of life, you know. That's about the general description about my experience, and I will talk about a little bit detail about each aspect of this process.
Sorry, Charles, we are losing your sound. Your voice is fading.
Okay. I just move a little bit farther from my microphone. How about that's not this time?
Now it's perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra. Okay. Normally, when I drinking the plasma water at the beginning, as I said in 2015, I just used the CO2 and the CH3. But I think the important thing is the effectiveness. That is the, how to say that, the quality. Okay, the quality of the Gans is very important. When you want to experience this kind of way of eating or living, because just as I said at the first time when I made this kind of cup, and whenever I poured hot water or boiled water into it, I can see there are a lot of tiny bubbles generated inside the wall. And if you do not have this kind of bubble inside that wall, maybe that water may not have enough energy for you to sustain for the whole day's need for your energy supply. So I think the best way is to find some very high quality materials or for making the CO2 Gans and CH3 Gans, and then I always forget about using the amino acid. I think this is one of the reasons that my weight has been dropping for about 3 months. That is, I think in the future, because I'm contemplating doing a whole new system, making a kind of dynamic system that do not need even to drink these kind of waters. But I will do that in the next or in a few weeks times. But at the beginning, when I making this kind of water, I think it's because of the quality, the high quality of that Gans, and it made me have this kind of successful experience of just drinking that, and plus some how to say that, coconut juice. Okay, coconut juice. I think there are also a lot of minerals and nutritions inside that coconut juice, and that made me have the opportunity of the successful experience of just drinking that water in 2015 for about 20 days. And starting from 6th of December last year, December, I actually changed a lot because my conditions changed a lot. I made around 5 different cups and using different ways of making that. And I also still use the cup that I used in 2015. And even now, when I drink it, when I pour hot water inside it, I still can see there are a lot of little air bubbles inside the double wall. And I think the other day Mr. Cass talked about it. He said that little air bubble full of plasma. It's radiating energy outward. Okay, so it's radiating energy just into the water that I'm going to drink. So it gives me a lot of energy every day. And right now, my experience of drinking plasma water is not like the previous video or experience. Some, for example, Jackie or some other friend, they experience just drinking a little bit of plasma water. My experience of these half years is I drink the CO2 zinc oxide and also CH3. CH3 is a little bit very small and few drops, and also zinc oxide also a few drops. CO2 water maybe a little bit more or quantity, but that's not the big part. The big part is the fruit Gans or food Gans. I made a whole lot of food Gans. Most of them is something like vegetarian food, because I quit eating meat in about 2010, I think in August 2010. And then I feel it's very healthy. Okay, so when I made these fruit Gans or food Gans, I deliberately choose those fruits, vegetables, so grains or some herbs without animal meat. Okay, I made around more than 30 types or nearly 30 types, different types of Gans. Some of the Gans, some of the fruit Gans, they want the herbs itself have the quality of radiating outward their energy. In Chinese, we say it's full of yang qi. Okay, the yang qi in English means it's a kind of energy. It will radiating outward. Okay, in Mr. Cash terminology, if you say it's yang qi, it means it's radiating outward. It's giving out. It's sending out energy. Okay, I choose deliberately a whole lot of different types of those kind of herbs. Okay, and turn it into Gans, and plus some other ordinary fruits like apple, banana, pear. Okay, and some other grains like beans or peanuts, something like that. And when I drink these Gans waters, apart from a little bit Gans water, zinc oxide water, and CH3, a little drop, I drink a whole lot of these fruit Gans water every day. Actually, it's just like a cup. I'm not sure about its how much the liter, but just like a Coca-Cola, a bottle. Okay, that bottle I will drink about I think at least 7 bottle of that fruit Gans water, plus a little bit CO2, zinc oxide, and CH3 water. And by doing things like that, it gives me very strong energy. Okay, that is the enough energy for me to do every daily work. Okay, without any worry, or it's not worry, without any choices of lack of energy. Okay, I can say in this way, I think. So my weight, I started at about 72 kilograms last year in December, and at about in about March or April, I think it's middle of March this year, my weight dropped to 60 kilograms from 72 kilograms. And I thought that may be okay, because before I came to Shenzhen, here right now I live in Shenzhen, but before I lived in Neimeng, which is another province, very big province in Linhe city. I have the experience of just eating very plain, okay, diet every day for about 4 years, and my weight kept at about 60 kilograms. It was when I came to Shenzhen and eat a whole lot of things, so my weight grew up to 70. The highest time I think is 75 or 74 kilograms. So I think it's too heavy for me. So I decided to lose weight again. But this time when I came back to 60 kilograms, I think it may be kept or keeping at that weight. That I think there will be no problem. I just are drinking these waters without eating any other solid food or solid, these kind of things. But my weight still dropping down from at that time. So I think it's dropping down to 57 sometimes. So I think, well, I need to change a little bit about this way of drinking. So I think starting from about March, middle of March, I started eating some fruit. Actually, it's not eating fruit. It's combining the Gans water, just like I described, the Gans water and also the fruit water, and use this water, put the fruit, the fruit that I used very frequently is the banana and also pear. Banana is the most frequently used fruit that I make, or using a blender, to make this kind of smoothies, and using this plasma water. And every day I just drinking these kind of smoothies every day, and feel very normal, very normal way of living, without any sense of lack of energy or some any other phenomenon which is not normal. Okay, so I think the whole process it's very easy, and I think everybody they can try it. You will feel it. The reason I choose, finally I choose to use water combined with these fruit and blending together and drink these fruit juice or smoothies, is that I think in about 2011, I think it's 11 or 12, I heard about an American woman whose name is Annette, and she's already 70 years old at that time, but she looks like just around 30 years old or 40, at most 40. looks like a 35 years old woman. Very smooth skin and full of energy and very flexible, without any cripple, 70 years old, and without a single white hair, and very gorgeous, you can say in this way. It's already 70 years old, and I'm very surprised about her way of living. And she talked about her way of living is because when she was 18 years old, she married to a guy who is a butcher. Every day he kill a lot of pigs or some other animals, and she cannot sustain it, cannot stand it. So she said, "Well, I quit eating meat," and then he just quit eating meat for about from 18 years old to about 40 years old, and then from 40 years old, he heard about somebody say, "Well, if you do not want to eat meat, well, there are better ways. That is, just eat." Uh, there is a word for it. How to say that? A rogan, or how to say that? That is just to eat a raw vegetable without cooking. Okay, and then he just do it. Okay, she has a backyard full of different uh, fruits, vegetables, and every day he choose different these kind of things, and uh, using a kind of blender to blend different types of these fruit and vegetables. And after 30 years of living in this way, she just looked like she was 30 years before. Okay, very full of energy. And her husband also already 74 years old, but looks like a very, very old man. The hair all all turned white, and every day have to eat a whole lot of medicines to cure his diabetes and high blood pressure or everything associated together, this kind of diseases. And these two people, when they stand together, people are very surprised. Think his wife is his daughter or something like that. But I learned from that experience that the fruit and vegetables and other things can be used. You can eat things just like this. You don't have to eat 3 meals every day, and combining with the Gans water, it will be very convenient and very practical. Actually, it's very practical way of just eating like this, or replacing 3 meals a day in this way. Very, very simple. You just have to have a kind of blender and 3 or 4 or 5 bananas every day. You just drink those water. That's okay. Okay, and once you eating things like this, you will naturally reduce dependence on 3 meals every day. And then the other phenomena you will feel, like right now, I can tell you my experience just starting from the day before yesterday. Mr. Cash talked about the way of practice holding your breath. 那么 so when you hold up your breath, you will have a kind of feeling that the air, or we say qi, inside your body coming together from outside in spherical 360 degrees, and inside the how to say that name, we say in dantian, or lower part of dantian, that chakra, okay, in the stomach,
lower belly.
Yeah, in lower belly area, I can feel the cheese, contracting inside it, and then it will expanding outward, just in this way, contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding. And in China, there are a lot of these kind of people. They are very good at it, and they call this kind of way of practice like Tai Chi. In English, it means the breathing of like a fetus. I mean, maybe it's can be translated in this way, like a fetus way of breathing. I don't know. So I can feel it. I can feel there are a whole lot of cheese inside my body, just like in Chinese. In the human body, we have a kind of a meridian, the channel for the qi. Okay, and I can feel those kind of qis whenever I sit in a very straight way. I can feel the qi, or we can say it's plasma. The plasma is going upward, very, very slowly, smoothly, and in a very, very cozy way, very, very comfortable way, very, very slowly, softly, gently, and moving upward, just like somebody waving on your back, or moving very softly on your back. So it's very comfortable. And once you eat things like this way, I mean, using plasma or Gans water, or combining those smoothies together, the channels, okay, inside our body, we have different channels. The main channel we eat food, the food channel. How to say there's a word as Fargus, as Fargus. I forgot about how to say that word, but it means the food channel. Okay, and the food channel, the air channel, blood vessel, and also the bone. Okay, the inside wall of it is the nano layers. Okay, once it is in nano layer, it will have the qi automatically expanding or radiating outward. So when you do not have much, or do not have food inside an ordinary food, I mean the solid materials, or the liquid like a paste materials inside your stomach, or the various channels, and the nano layers inside it will be open up, and once it is clean and open up, it will automatically, this is automatic way, releasing outward. And when it releasing outward, combining all of these lines, all of these plasmas together, and because it is in a like an air state, so it's very light. So because it is light, then it will going upward. Okay, so when it is going upward, it is I think the other day Brett the other day talk about this kind of phenomenon. He said, I always can feel a kind of phenomenon that something going upward, like a qi in my back or on my back. Actually, that is the same kind of experience that I have, and a whole lot of people in China. Cause in China we have a lot of group, and we talk about these kind of things, and some people are interested. They also tried in this way, and they have the same kind of experience. And also those people who are practice qigong, they also have this even better experience. That is, they have a kind of a circle. We call that 小周天. and also 大周天, which means you have a small circulation around your body from your back onto your head and then downward and to the front line of your chest and stomach, and also down to the we call that the hui yin, and then back again onto the we call the central column, okay, central channel or qi channel, and then from that channel going upward to the, we call that the bai hui, which is the kind of channel or joint juncture at the center of the skull or human brain, and the qi is going in like this way. So when the plasma going in this kind of roadmap or route, the people will have a very, very healthy life, healthy body, and some people even can become what we call the fairy, or how to say, I am not sure in English how to say, but in China we call that like a Dao or Xian. They can live a long time without worry of dying, or or they can live several hundred years old. And in China, we have a whole lot of these kind of people. They have this kind of way, or this kind of phenomenon, that is the qi, the plasma inside their body, running very smoothly every day and every time, every single time. It's just a very normal for them. But for us, the ordinary people, if you want to really have a very healthy life, healthy body, and to live a long life, longevity, something like that. Yeah, you have to, you will like to do things like this, because if you practice things like this, you will feel there are a whole lot of energy at the below belly, this area. And normally, ordinary people, they will have a kind of strong impulse, of sexual impulse. They will release this kind of qis downwards. But if you release this kind of qis downwards, it is kind of waste, and you will lose a lot of energy, which may be turned into qi inside your heart chakra, and then from there it will go upward onto your how to say, top chakra, and you will gradually become a very you will control your life, very healthy way of life. Okay, and that is my understanding of the qi inside our body. And Mr. Keshe also the other day talked about it. Is that once you have the plasma running, once you can feel, okay, feel the plasma running inside your body very smoothly, and you will have no worry of getting sick. Okay, you will have very, very good healthy body. That's very, very true, I think. So that is the my feeling of the qi inside my body. Once you have this kind of experience, you have this time. I think right now it's about 6 months. Once you have this time of eating very, very little, the best is not eating. If you do not eat, you will not die. In China, we have this kind of saying in the Taoist say, or theory or something like that. They say, if you do not eat anything, you will not die. Okay, so in using Gans water, we can make a different kind of fruit Gans, and if you can make the very high quality of this Gans water, and once you drink it, it's full of energy, and you have the energy inside your body. So you already have the 80% body from the environment, and then you have the other 20% of energy by drinking those energy water. So you just fulfilled or have all the energy that you need to lead your everyday life. So in this way, the channels, inside your body will be very, very clean, very clear. Okay, so because it is very clean, and it will create enough space for the nano layers inside your food channels, or air channels, or other channels, and it will radiating plasma, and you will full of plasma every day. So in this kind of a condition, you will feel very very comfortable every day. I can just say that. Okay, and it is the plasma energy. The plasma energy, it is just like from a matter to nano, and nano to Gans, and from Gans into the plasma. The plasma is just like what in my way of thinking. Actually, all the things or almost everything that I talk about is the experience that I learned from Mr. Keshe. I watched a lot, you can say a whole lot of, not if it's not every single videos teachings, at least it will be 99% of the whole the teachings. I watched, and most of them I translated into Chinese. So I have a lot of these kind of things in my mind. So when you have these kind of plasma inside your body, it's just like when you have a magnet. You take a magnet in your hand, and you cannot feel anything because it is just one magnet. But even though it has energy, okay, it has magnetic energy, but you cannot feel it because it is only one. But if you have another magnet holding it in other hand, when you put these two magnets together, it will naturally have a kind of interaction. You can feel its repulsion, attraction very, very uh, easily and naturally. So when we drink water, the things or amino acid inside our body, it has a original or one type of magnetic or gravitational field, but because it is only one entity, so it cannot have any feeling, or it cannot have a kind of counterpart to interact with. So you just cannot feel the field. Okay, you just have no way to feel the field inside your body. But once you drink this water, this water, well, we call it CO2 Gans water. CO2, we know it has carbon and oxygen. So normally there are different versions of saying that, but normally we know that oxygen consists of about 64% of our body, and hydrogen something like 24%, and carbon something like 12%, and nitrogen something like 1.1%. These four things adding up together, it will consist of about 99.1% or 99.9% of the whole, the composite of our body. So the water we drink, the CO2, it has carbon and it has oxygen, and combining we use some hydrogen inside water, and then we have to breathe every day, every single time, and have a lot of nitrogen, and it will naturally turn into the Gans state, or even better, we just make these kind of Gans and combining together into a new form of amino acid, and then the amino acid inside our body, they will have a kind of difference, potential difference, or strength difference. So they will have an interaction, and these interactions will eradicate all the unnecessary things inside your body, and to erase out all of these waste, or how to say, viruses or parasites or things like that, that your body do not need, things getting out of your body, and giving the body that what it lack of. Okay, and to make your body into a kind of a balanced state, and you will have no worry at all, you will have no disease at all, just like the other day, I forgot about whether it's Mr. Cast, a metaphor, or what. It's just like the current uh, modern medicine. They have a different name for different diseases, just like a tree, a very big tree. They have a lot of leaves and branches and the sub branches, and also we have a trunk, main stem, and the root of the tree. So they name different diseases at different leaves or branches. For example, headaches or heart attack or cancers or the other. Each place they will have a name for that. But actually, 99.9% of the human body is made of amino acid. So if we just doing something that will, change or make our amino acid feel comfortable, or make it into a balanced state, then all your diseases will be, you know, eradicated or reversed, or changed into better state. It's just simple as that. Very very simple. Whenever I talk about this part, I think of the example suggested by Paul in Togo. He said he has some case of AIDS patient. First is the lady, and then the lady's husband. They all have AIDS, and because going to hospital is very expensive, especially for those in the Western countries, also in China, it's very very difficult. And those people who have money, very healthy people, they will fund very expensive, hospitals to treat their diseases like cancers or some other things. But it's not very easy to, reverse these kind of diseases, even though it is a very famous and expensive hospital. Then you spend a whole lot of money or fortune to want to, change or to cure these diseases, but you just cannot make it into, better state. But the guy, Paul in Togo, in Africa, which is not having enough, facilities or very good condition to go to that very high or expensive hospitals to cure his AIDS or her AIDS. The the things she they only get is the water, the plasma water, Gans CO2 water. So they just drink, Gans water, and CO2 or CH3 or zinc oxide or things like that. And one way is drink it, and then he use all of the waters to wash their clothes, to cook their food, and bathe and shower and everything. To just use these kind of water. So in this way, later when they go to the hospitals who have a recheck, they found their AIDS completely gone. So I think this kind of phenomena tell us a very, very simple lesson, okay, or experience. That is the strength, okay, of plasma strength inside the body, which is they drink, okay, this kind of water. This water have a kind of strength that it is inside the body, and when they wash their clothes and showering and everything outside the body, so the plasma, the strength will have a different strength compared with the plasma inside the body. So these two different strengths, they will have a kind of natural interaction. That is, once this kind of interaction started, it's just like a very natural process of balancing his body. It's just like that. Okay, so when it is in a very natural and all the time, it will have this process of smoothing out what is more and giving what is lack of. So gradually the yin and the yang, it will be balanced. So when the yin and yang balanced inside our body, we will have no diseases at all. Okay, because the channels inside our body will be open up, and you will have no blockage. So once you do not have blockage inside your body, you will have no pain. So if you have pain, it means somewhere inside your body, some of the channels blocked. It's just like that simple. Okay, so we have the Gans water, and we have the different ways of using the Gans water, and we can put it inside our body, and we can put it outside our body, and we can using health pad. We can use it like a health pen. We can make a kind of device around our body, and also we can drink something and or some other things which have plasma energy inside our body, and then it will have a kind of waving all the time inside your body. Gradually, everything which is not balanced inside your body will be balanced. So once your body is balanced, you will have no worry at all. You will be very healthy. You will be very happy. The life is very easy. So you don't have to worry everything or anything at all. The life is very beautiful. The world is actually very beautiful. The future for mankind is also very, very bright and beautiful, as long as everybody, just like Mr. Cass talked about, you have the ESAs, like equality, okay? Equality of peace, you do not steal, you do not kill, and you serve the people wholeheartedly or unconditionally. So actually, there is a kind of saying that if you can do things unconditionally to help people, okay, if you really can, from the bottom of your heart, that's just like a habit, and it's a kind of drive inside your heart that you want to help somebody, and you do it, not just say it, you just do it. You do it every day. You give what's more inside you, and you give the surplus to the people who need it, okay? And gradually, you will form a kind of way of doing things. And this kind of way of doing things is just like the way of the universe doing things. That is, if you have more, and you will give to the people who do not have or lack of something. That is just like the way of universe running. Like if the wind is very strong, it will blow to the place which have small wind, or the intensity, from high intensity moving to the low intensity. Okay, the water from very high place, it will move naturally downward to the low place. Okay, the temperature also, very high temperature, it will move to the low temperature. So the plasma it's the same thing. It's the natural way of using the universe. That is, we're just copying the universe, the way universe doing things. The plasma, we always talk about gradient, or we talk about the difference. Okay, the strength, the difference of strength. It is just like what I just talked about is the way the universe runs or running. It will from the higher place to the lower place. So in human life, in the society, in our world, it's the upside down. That is, the people who already have a lot of money, but they will still want more money from the poor people. The poor people already do not have almost everything. But for example, those peasants in the past, we call it this way, and when they have food, they will, give a portion of it to the king or some other guys. So it's the opposite way of running, like the universe. So in this way, there are a whole lot of problems creating, emerging, okay, in this world. So if we do things according to the natural way or universe way of running, there will be no problem at all. But people will be very healthy, just like 7 billion people in our world. People can live very very healthy life. It's just because we have a very natural flow of energy inside our body to every single cell to our body. In our body, we cannot see any checkpoint to see, well, you do not have money, we will not give energy to you. Okay? We just cannot see this kind of thing happening inside our body. So we have 7 billion very healthy human beings every day living. So that is the way the universe works. So the plasma technology Mr. Keshe brought about to us is just like this way of running. When you have two entities, you can understand or you know how to make the kind of arrangement or configuration that is you can allow the energy flow from the high place or high energy and flow to the low energy place, and then to make a kind of a circle, and it will grow, circling little by little. It will grow bigger and bigger because by the time they are growing, it will attracting the residual energy around it in the environment, and into it, it will be bigger and bigger. Energy will be stronger and stronger, something like that. So once you have this experience of drinking Gans water or eating very very less, that is to the point that you do not need to eat anything, then you will have this kind of feeling or recognition that you will have the opportunity of living a long time, so this is a very very good thing of way of living in China. Also in English, I mean the book in English, I noticed there are some books talking about the people or human originally just breath air, that is breatharian, or how to say that, or fruitarian, something like that. And if you can live away in that kind of way of living, you will be very very healthy. That is my way of looking at these kind of things. The talk about the making of fruit Gans, I think it's very easy. I I will not talk too much about it. I will just share my experience of making the fruit Gans. There are several different ways of making the fruit Gans. The simplest one is to think of the way the sea Gans is made, how the sea Gans is made, and once you understand the process, why the sea Gans is in can be made in such an easy way and a quick way, and you will understand the fruit Gans is the same thing. It's absolutely the same thing. That is, in the sea Gans, you can see the seawater. It's very clear. You almost cannot see any particles inside the sea water. But once you put some NaOH or things like that into it, and you will see there are immediately like a white cloud appearing inside the water. And actually, Mr. Keshe talked about these things in one of the teachings, is that these seawater, there are a lot of particles, actually the elements in the around the whole the world, all the elements of the world are inside these sea waters. So once you it is already in the salt water in it for a long time, and then once you put the NaOH inside it, it will first start a process of a nano coating. The nano coating process is finished in a very, very fast time or speed. And then once it is nano coated, it immediately changed because of the salt water, and it changed into Gans. So these also are 2 steps. But these 2 steps, it's actually like a reverse way of the way that we are making the fruit Gans. Normally, we are making fruit Gans. We will first make nano materials using NaOH, and then we put the nanomaterials and also another material which is not nano-coated, and then put it into a plastic bag or kind of bottle, and it will change into Gans. So the sea water Gans is like the reverse way, but no matter which kind of way, as long as these 2 conditions are met, it will become Gans, just like that. Very simple. So once you understand, the Gans can be made very easily in this way, and because the seawater, you cannot use it because there are a whole lot of different materials inside it. So you have to make a kind of a specific type of Gans. So you have to use different materials to make a specific kind of Gans. So if you want to make fruit Gans, the best thing you may think of is to first blend it into a very, very tiny, very tiny particles. The tinier the better. Okay, the tinier the better. And then you can use some lemon juice, lemonade. Okay, lemon and some slice into it, and then you put some salt, okay, inside it, and you blend it evenly, and then you put it down to a kind of fire to at around 40 degrees for about 15 minutes, and then you just leave it for about 1 day, and then you just use CO2 water to erase it. The water you use, the best one is distilled water. You just erase it for 6 or 7 or 8, 10 times, and then it will become Gans. this is one of the ways, but it is not the only way. There are some other ways. Mr. Keshe talk about one of the way, which is the original way, a little bit using a little bit more time, but I think it's also a very good way, because when you make Gans, you do not have don't have to worry, because the life is actually very long. Like I always talk about to my friend in China, I said the human lives, uh, uh, the uh, the age, for the human body is actually at the least would be 500 years, not the way that the people always think only about 80 or 90 years and then the game is over. No, it's not like that. Actually, if you understand these are all of these things, and then also we have the technology to revive the stem cells, and also some other technology that prolong our life to live in this world. You really at least 500 years is a very quite possible or practical thing. So if you have this kind of mentality, and you don't have to worry at all. Why you have to worry? The life is very happy, and you don't have to worry too much things, because as long as you have very simple mind and pursue a very simple life, and you do not have to worry about all of these things, and you do not look outward to compete with each other, like, wow, that guy have a Rolls Royce, and they have very a lot of money, something like that. If you compete with them, there will be no ending. Okay, and you will be very worried, and you will be very hard for your life, and experience all sort of painful experience of your life. But if you just coming back and look inside your heart, inside your body, and you will find a whole different world, also very, very beautiful, wonderful, and it will give you a lot of uh, abilities, which is you know just ordinary people like us just cannot believe or think of these kind of abilities. A lot of things will happen. So I think uh, by learning what Mr. Cash told us, it gives the ordinary people like us, very ordinary people, a chance of experience a very beautiful world that lies in front of us. Just like I can give you an example about it. I watched some of the videos, some very high, or we say the kung fu masters. Uh, they practice qi gong, okay, for a long time, and then some of the people who are also very qualified a boxer or wrestler or something like that, and they want to attack that guy or kung fu master. They very rush very rapidly toward that and want to kick him or to punch him, but without touching that guy, the kung fu master, even there are around a half meter or 1 meter distance, the the rapid or the harder he want to attack the kung fu master, the more powerful he will be pushed back. Even without touching him, he will be pushed back by the plasma, actually, by the qi, by the plasma, and dropping back outward and down on the ground. So I watched a lot of these kind of videos. Even a guy who just using his spare hand, and there they put some papers and straws, so things like that, dried straws, and they just use his water and to send energy from his palm into those flammable things, and you can see, wow, these things just light fire is you know um, is up or is on, just by using the energy it can make fire, that kind of thing. So we know that the energy inside our body is very, very powerful. But ordinary people just do not have the chance of experience it. But what Mr. Keshe, the plasma technology brought us or give us the opportunity, the ordinary people will have the chance of, to experience this kind of thing. They will make different kind of devices. The devices that can generate different kinds of energy, different scale or strength of energy, and pinpoint, a particular thing, or to multiply the energy, the degree of the energy. It will, make a whole lot of things very easier and simpler. Like, for example, I watched some of the, videos. People, one people very, very powerful. That is, he can use his mind to, or can use his word to cure somebody's disease remotely. Okay, for example, you have a disease, you maybe lying in bed, or some other disease, you just cannot be cured, but that guy can talk with you just by talking. A untight the knock inside your heart. That is, it is kind of an emotional problem causing or resulting in different kind of diseases. But just by talking, it will let that kind of people going out of that kind of lock, or the inside their self lock. A lot of people, the disease is because of the self lock. It's a status. Once you're in this kind of status, you just cannot go in outward, and your body may not be well at all, because you are locked by yourself, by the thought, by the ideology, or by your value, by everything. But you just interlocked by yourself. So if people can talk about something and to untie that kind of lock, that people will be cured. I watched. I know a lot of people can do this kind of thing, and also some people can see through the human body. They can see the the qi, the channels running inside their body, and it can cure it just by kind of puncture, acupuncture, things like that. But all of these things, right now, in my opinion, is it's just the scale of the patient is very small. It can only target it into one or two people, or one at a time. So it's really very hard for the ordinary people, or whole lot of ordinary people, to benefit from this kind of thing, to cure their diseases, or to treat well their diseases. But the Mr. Keshe technology is very simple, very, very simple. It's just like what I just talked about. You drink water, Gans water, and then you put different things around your body, or you make different devices, and having a kind of gradient. Okay, the difference of the intensity or the strength of the plasma, and then the people just stay in it. You can sit in it, you can lie in it, you can stand in it, whatever the way you the position you want to take. You just inside that, and for a period of time, not very long time, your body will naturally coming back into a balanced state, and then you all the diseases will be getting out, or reversed, or into a normal state. So in this way, all the ordinary people, their health will be cured. They will be attended, no problem at all. So this is the change, not just something a single person or individual person can be benefited. Okay. And some other things is that when we make the cup of life, we actually can made a kind of the other day on the 19th of June, we have the a presentation about the plasma fluctuation unit, and he has a central bottle, and then he has a outer ring. I think if we make the cup of life in that kind of structure, that is in the center, you got a very strong strength of plasma. That is the quantity of the Gans is very heavy, very very large compared with the quantity of Gans on the outside of the bottle. I remember the other day, Armin told us that the the difference between proton and electron is about 2001. So if you can make the kind of difference in this way, um, the plasma it will rotate automatically around it. So it's very simple. If you can think of things like this, you can just make a central bottle and full of Gans, and then you put around it a wrap around a plastic bag or plastic tube, or you put it inside it some small quantity of the similar Gans inside it, and then you just drink the water inside the bottle, okay, between these two Ganses, and the water between these two Gans, it will be charged automatically and full of energy. So if you drink waters in this way, it will also make you full of energy. And once you have this energy, I remember the first several months when I just do not eat anything without eating even the fruits. At that time, I can sense that in the evening, I'm still full of energy. Just do not want to sleep only a few hours, 3 or 4 hours. That is okay. At that time, I can have that kind of experience. But once I started drinking the fruit combining with the Gans, I still have to sleep for about from 12 o'clock in the evening, and then get up at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a kind of a normal way. But I can sense the energy is very strong in those previous months. Okay, that is what I want to share with everybody about my experience of drinking Gans water, plasma water. Thank you, everybody. Hello.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Charles. Maybe you can take some questions from people now.
Yeah.
There's a student, Marzina, who has their hand up. I'll promote them to a panelist, and they can ask you a question. If any other students, you can promote to the panelist. Otherwise, if we don't know you, then you have to be checked out by our webmaster. Let's see here. There was someone else as well that had some experiences to share about feeding themselves with plasma fields, but that could be sometime after. So let's focus here on, let's see, where's the other questions as well. How about Marzina, do you want to, did you have something you wanted to say about this? Not sure if you know how to unmute. I'll unmute you and see if that works. Hello? Oh, hi, Marzina, can you hear us? We're not hearing you.
Hi, I can
hello.
I speak. Hello,
Yes.
I speak English. Sorry, I can
okay.
Germany or Poland. Sorry.
So you didn't need to be a panelist, I guess, then. Okay. I'll turn you back.
Maybe I can support to translate from German to English if the lady speaks very slowly.
Eigentlich, ich will gar nicht sagen. Verstehst du? Ich weiß nicht, warum stehe ich jetzt in Panelliste.
She says she doesn't know why she's in the panelist because she doesn't speak any English. She doesn't understand. She has no questions.
Okay, her hand was up, so I promoted her to a panelist. Okay, I'll put you back as an attendee. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Lake.
Hello.
Lake, I have a question for Charles. Charles, good morning. I have a question for you, Charles. Thank you so much for sharing. Did you have any experience that you didn't eat at all, just the Gans water? And if you did, for how long you did that?
Well, I actually have the experience about previously in 2015. I have about 20 days just drinking water and also drinking coconut juice without eating any hard or solid food or solid fruit or vegetable, just drinking water, but not just drinking water. Additional coconut juice, I drink about it for about 20 days. That's okay for me. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we have Zena, who I've promoted to a panelist. They had their hand up, and they're a student apparently. So, Zena, can you? Oh, I don't have a microphone apparently. Ah, there it is. It's popping in. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Did you have a question or comment that you wanted to make?
Thank you, Mr. Shah, for your generosity. It's touching that we live in a universe with different origins and so much generosity. Thanks to Mr. Cash. Thank you. And I wanted to know, how do you clean the Gans, fruit Gans water? Do you put a filter or you use the syringe?
Well, I just put the bottle of the first time that I made these fruit Gans and put it in the place for about 1 day, and it will settle down. And I just pour out those water on the upper part of the bottle out, and then pour in some new water, the high quality water. I did not use the distilled water, and originally I thought the best way would be use distilled water, but distilled water is very hard to get. You have to buy it or you have to make it yourself. So I just use this very high quality water. I use a kind of meter to test it. The mineral content of it is only less than 2. There is a kind of a meter you can put it into the water. The tap water, the figure for it is about 95 or 70. It's very high. The higher, the more contents or minerals or pollutions inside it. So when you buy a bottle of distilled, purified water, you use that kind of meter, put it inside it, and you will see the figure is less than 5 or 6 or even lesser. So I use the water which have the figure of less than 1 or 2, you know, and then I use this kind of water to rinse, you know, rinse the scans for about 9 times. I just put it there, and because I have a lot of time, so I just put it there for 1 day or 2 days, and it will settle down completely, and then I will just pour out the water part, and then pour in the new water, and just like that, do it for about 7 times.
Can I clean it with CO2 water?
Yeah, I just use CO2 water. First, I clean it for about 4 or 5 times the ordinary water, and then I use CO2 water to clean it for about another 3 or 4 times.
And I can keep it in CO2 water?
Yeah, you can. CO2 water is the only water that you will use to rinse or erase the you know, the something. Why we use CO2 water? Well, my understanding is that first of all, CO2 water is the base water that we use in our food cans, and it has the, you know, amino acid, the basis for that. That is the first one, and the other one, I think, is because we learned in several of the teachings. Mr. Keshe told us that the CO2 water can be used to treat all the diseases which ending with the virus. So as long as you have a kind of name for the disease ending with virus, all of these things can be, you know, eradicated or, you know, cured by the CO2 water. So CO2 water have a kind of ability or function of contaminating, I think, or to make or to let the water even more pure or clean, and to get out of this disinfection actually. So I think using CO2 water is a necessity to you know, wash all of these fruit cans.
Thank you very much. A second question is, when you talk about Yangtze food, is it the same as Yi food?
You know, in China, in my understanding, if you want to choose a body full of energy, that is full of qi, okay, the qi, it's a kind of emanating, it's giving out. So if it is sending outward, giving out, then it should be yang qi, okay. So I just deliberately choose a lot of these kind of herbs, which for those people who like, you know, the Chinese herbs, they will eat or cook a lot of these kind of things. And I make these kind of things into Gans. So I don't have to make it again. I just make it one time, and then just to drink that water. And that water will make my body very light, because the qi is full of my body. And it will go upward, you know, upward to my body. So that's my experience. I do not know if you use some yin qi that is gravitational, that is it's attracting the qi downward, you know, or insideward. But I do not know. But what I know is that if you have a lot of qi coming outward and full of your body, that would be a better way of doing things. Okay. Hello?
Yes, okay, thank you. Is anybody else?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, no problem at all.
Anybody else have a question for Charles here?
Hello, this is Mosfik speaking. I have a question for Charles. I know you have a lot of experience, and thanks for sharing the experience.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks. My question is, you know, you have used quite a bit of food GANs. Have you tried using CH3 or the amino acid GANs water instead of food GANs in getting energy replacement as a replacement of food? I wonder what kind of experience you have with those things.
You mean just use CH3 and as an energy supplier, and also the CO2 and zinc water, zinc oxide water?
No, what I'm meaning is CH3 and also the amino acids that forms on CH3 as well as CO2 and CO.
Well, I think this is the best way to do that. But I do not know how to say. I just do not have use the amino acid inside into my recipe. Maybe I think that's the reason that I keep dropping my weight from 72 to right now it's 57, and it's fixed right now because it's fixed for about 2 months, I think, right now, because I'm drinking fruits and smoothies these days using Gans water. So I will do what you just mentioned, like Mr. Keshe also suggested, that we have to use the amino acid, that is the protein, a fat actually formed on the top layer of the CO2 or CH3 gas making. I think this is a very good way, and I will do that. Maybe that's in that way you don't have to drink a whole lot of water like the way I do.
I have tried it, but not as long as you have. But and as you said, if you just drink Gans water, even CH3, there is a tendency to lose weight. But as I added the amino acid Gans water, that process, the weight loss stabilized. So this has been my experience. So
thank you. That's very good. That. Yeah, thank you. I will do that. Amino acids, Gans water. You use CH3 amino acid, right?
I use CH3 and all the 3 amino acids, and they each have distinct effects because I have tried changing them, varying the amounts. I think from my experience, and I think others' experience would definitely help here, it seems that CH3 amino acid Gans water and CuO2 amino acid Gans water makes the most difference. CO2 zinc oxide amino acid Gans water did not make as much of a difference. That's how I felt, and so it might be different for others.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Joe. This is Mary from California. Thank you very much for your experience. Very interesting. I have a few questions. I have a few questions. When you said you make the food gangs, it's similar like sea gangs, right? So you just pour the NaOH over to with the hot water over to the food. After you blended the food really fine or pure, really fine to the small particles. Does it, and you let it settle over for 1 day?
Yeah, 1 day.
Is it, does it have salt in there or just NaOH alone with the food?
Well, okay, let me talk about it in this way. The reason I said you understand the process of a sea Gans water turning to sea water turning to sea Gans is because the reason is that the fruit or food you made, you make it into tiniest particle. The tiniest, the better. Because if it is tiny, and you just use a tiny amount of or very small amount of NaOH or lemon, because lemon combined with salt, it will change, a part of it will be changed into NaOH, and then also there are already have some salt. So this is a natural process of making it into a kind of the original two process. One is the NaOH, the other is salt. So because the particle is very, very tiny, and using a small amount of the NaOH, and it will change it or to make it into a kind of nano material, and then because it is in the salt condition, and it will change again because of the presence of Na, and then it will back into the like a popcorn into the Gans state. The reason I said is because like this, the matter part of the particle, the smaller it is, the easier it will become Gans. That's the reason I say why we need to understand the process of making seawater Gans.
So when you say salt, you refer to the NaOH, not the table salt, right? Not additional table salt plus the NaOH, not the caustic and the salt, but just the caustic.
No.
Alone.
No. NaOH, you can use it, but I did not use it when I making the fruit Gans. I used the lemon slice because if you use lemon, it is already combined with salt. It will also change. It's changed into NaOH. But this kind of NaOH,
I understand.
It's acceptable, by the body. So you don't have to worry about the the chemical things inside it.
Oh, I understand now. So you use salt water with food and with the lemon. You lemon as like a reacting agent. Oh, okay, thank you very much. So that way everything's natural. You don't have to worry about NaOH.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because when I make food Gans, I did make just pour the NaOH, the caustic into the food, but I did not blend it to the tiny particle. I just like chop it up really small, and sometimes without salt. Sometimes that particle, gets spoiled. So I had to do it. I'll try your way. Thank you very much. And my second question. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, NaOH can be done because Mr. Keshe, the way Mr. Keshe is use NaOH and chop it into small, chop pieces, and then to put it into the plastic box for about 1 or 2 days or 2 or 3 days, and then to clean it using the the material settle down, and put it into a kind of a CO2 making box, and then to settle it for about 2 or 3 days, and then it will become the fruit Gans. That's the original way. This also can be done. Only the way that I talk about is I learn a lot from different people, and I think this is a little bit easier, so I use this way. But Mr. Keshe way is also the best way, I think.
Yes, I'm sure other people have success with different methods too. So the lemons, how much you put in? It's just like half a lemon for a cup of food.
Yeah, it depends on the quantity you made. I think you don't have to make too much of these fruit Gans when you want to make it, because if you make too much, it will have less time for the the settling down. And if you do not have enough space for the water on the upper part of the bottle, it will be very difficult for you to rinse it
Right,
cleanly.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. My second question, for the period that I think you said from December to March, that period you just had the water only with no fruit juice. Has you ever had the feeling like craving for food? Or when you smell somebody cooking, did you have an urge to eat again?
No. because you can say this process is on a large scale or in a more degree, it is a kind of ideology. That is the way of thinking. It's plays even more a bigger role in this part, because when I do again this kind of way of diet, I already know that the people can live without eating. And then I think this is the very good way for me to have a healthy life or healthy body. And so from my thinking at the beginning of my doing this, I already determined that this it will definitely be realized, and it will be very happy for me to do this, to do things like this, because I already have a kind of experience in 2015. So it's a kind of absolute certainty in my belief that this will be done. And so I have no the impression of a lack of energy or feel hungry, because I drink not only few drops, not only few drops of CO2 or CH3 or things like that. I drink a lot of water, but it's fruit gas water. So as long as you drink water, and your hungry will be gone. That is a way of replacing your uh, feeling of hungry.
Thank you very much. So the mindset and your determination, in other words, your feel, the field of inside of you, your belief, that plays in an important role too. So how many different food gangs have you used? About 20 of them?
Well, that's a lot. Because the name for that is a kind of Chinese just traditional herbs. I do not know how to say that in English, but in Chinese, like we say ginseng. You know ginseng?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and we say that 黄精. I do not know how to say in English, but it's a kind of herbs that can give out a lot of yang qi. Okay, that is magnetic energy out. In China there are a lot of Taoist, people who are master in Tao.
Yes.
And every morning they get up and onto the mountains. They will pick these live herbs like a 黄精. I'm not sure how to say that in English, but I made these kind of ganses, and then some other like how to say 铁皮石斛. I don't know how to say in English, and some other things which have generally have the property of sending out energy, and some other ordinary things like tomatoes, potatoes, bananas, pineapples, and some other fruit. I made a lot of these things. There is a table, very big table, full of these bottles.
So basically, you just make any food that you crave for it, and some of the herbs that you think is very healthy for your body.
Yeah.
Combine them.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. That's all the question I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's very good. Now we have a question that's associated with that, actually, from Wolfshot in the chat. It says, question for Charles. I have not drank or eaten for a little more than a month long in 2013. Many question marks came during this time. What do you think about why, and well, actually he's asking, what do you think about why people eat and drink when they know they must not do it or they don't need to do it? I eat and drink too at the moment, but knowing this feeling about going without eating and feeling, it's the best state of all that I know. So why do you think it is that people eat and drink if indeed you can feel good and have great energy without having the food?
I I did not catch up what is the meaning. I'm not sure what's the meaning he's talking.
Well, what he's saying is that, like you're saying that you feel good and you can live without food, right? So he's asking, what do you think about, why is it that people eat and drink then? What is it that is about eating and drinking that, why do we do it if we don't really need to?
Oh, well, that's a kind of a cultural problem. A question is not a problem. I think people have different habits or choose different way of living, and this every way of living needs to be respected, because they at the moment they think it's a good way for them to live. That's okay. It's better. No problem at all. Only a small number of people may think it's better not to eat or eat food the like way that we are or I'm doing. So I think that's not a problem actually. But if more and more people understand or get to know and try this kind of way of having diet and found that it is okay, it's practical, then a lot of people will gradually catch up. And it's also a kind of how to say proportion. If a proportion of the population, for example, 5% or 10%, they are a lot of people doing this kind of thing, and every day you will come across some people doing things like this. Maybe you will have a kind of interest to see why these people can do that and I cannot do it. So you will have a try. So more people try it, and more people have the chance of having this can do it and have this know that it's practical and it's doable, and they will do it, and more and more people will do it in this way. But I think at the moment, just like Mr. Cass talked about, it is a transitional way of uh, replacing 3 meals using drinking water way. But in the future, when Mr. Cash or some of us think of even better way, that is having plasma energy, and you have different food and make it into Gans, and then you just have a kind of a dynamic reactor using motors, or maybe without using motors, you're just using a natural way and let it itself rotating or in a dynamism, and then it will radiating outward the energy, for example in a village or on the top of a building, and make several of these things in the city, and the whole city do not need to eat anything. I think this kind of things is quite doable in the future, as right now Mr. Cash talk about we can use our soul to acquire the energy from the universe. Once you learn about this kind of thing, then you don't have to eat, I think, or even drink. You just think about it. And why I believe Mr. Cass talk about things that if you think about it hard, and using your mind, using your soul, and you think there will be gold in your hand, or there will be banana or water in your hand, it will be appear. Because in China, somebody they are learning or practicing Buddhism, and there are some of the stories I heard about some of the people talking about, because I'm not practicing Buddhism, but I heard some of the people, they are learn very deeply into this kind of things, and said Buddha can do things like that. That is, if he want to have gold, it will have, just think about it, it will be appear in his hand. And they want to have rice or some other fruit, they will be appear in their hand. Even though it's a kind of a story, passed on for the generations, and I did not see it personally, but from the things I learned from Mr. Keshe for all of these years, I think, the earth, all the things, all the materials on earth is actually really just like what Mr. Keshe told us. It's the interaction between the sun, magnetic and gravitational field, and also the earth, gravitational magnetic field, their interaction between these two entities, and all of these materials generated at different places, different conditions, it will appear different materials, like at different mine. It's formed gradually, layer by layer. And just like I was talking about this thing, I just suddenly thought about or think about one of the things that I want to share with everybody, is that Mr. Keshe always talk about the more you give, the more you will receive. Actually, he's talking about just like Earth. The Earth, it has a magnetic sphere, and the more it sends out, and the more it will receive. So how the Earth, came into this kind of a size, or weight, or this kind of condition, is just because it will send out unconditionally and more, sending out its energy. And also, the more you send out, the more you give out, and the more you will receive. These are the two things, just like your palm and the back of your hand. These are the two things. The coin have two sides. So these two things are combined together. The more you help people, the more you will be helped by the people in the future. Maybe it's not immediately, it's not a direct thing, but over the time, you will feel this kind of coming back feedback onto your body. Definitely you will feel it. Okay, so just like I think a lot of people have this kind of experience or feeling. Even myself, I can feel it very deeply. Obviously, a lot of people, when I in a kind of situation that need help, when I say I need some help, cause right now I'm not in a very good situation, and people will help me unconditionally. Because in the previous years, I made translating or doing this kind of thing for a whole lot of time, and people will understand that, and when in a time of need, they will help you very naturally. So I said I thank everybody who are learning together with me, and to learning all of these things. I think the plasma technology, it is a very natural, very natural technology. It actually, why Mr. Keshe always say it serve the people, unconditionally serve the people, because the more you serve people, the people are not around you, or yourself, your family, or your people no, it's all the people. The more people you help, the more energy you will get, even though you may not think about it, but it will come back naturally back onto yourself. So that is the reason that why we learned that Mr. Keshe always talk about this kind of phrase, because it is a natural thing. Once you understand about this, and you will be having a kind of habit, and you will want to try or do things like this. And more people do things like this, the world will be more beautiful, more better a place for us to live, just like that. Okay.
Charles, do you think you could give Gare in the chat an explanation? He wants to understand what happens inside the body when one drinks the Gans waters. What goes on? What's the actual process that goes on in your understanding of how that happens, or what happens inside the body? What's the interaction there that you see? He's trying to understand that.
Okay, I think it's only my understanding. Maybe it's not correct, but I think I mentioned this point in my presentation. It's something like everything inside our body have its own gravitational or magnetic field strength. Okay, but originally, if we do not drink Gans water, because Gans water, it has Gans in it, or it has the property of Gans in it. If it has a property of Gans, it means that the water is charged water. That is, the water is not ordinary water. The water, even though you can see the ordinary is very transparent, just like a normal water, but actually, if you use a kind of a scientific microscopic or microscopic or things like that, if you magnifying it and see, it's different. You can see the water particles inside it. It's vibrating. It's vibrating at very, very high speed. Sometimes the speed of it will be about 10 to the 12 power of 12 or 14 times, which is at around the human cells. They also have a kind of this type of frequency of vibrating, and because the ordinary water, they do not have this kind of way. So if you do not have this kind of way, when you drink it, it's just like the normal way of absorbing the water by the body. So it will have not a great effect of change. But once you drink the Gans water, especially what we talk about the CO2 Gans water, the carbon and oxygen and some other things in it is already in the Gans state. Because it is in Gans state, there are a lot of tiny particles inside the water. The tiny particles is like something. For example, if you look at the nanomaterial, make it into a microelectronic things to look at it, you will find that it is an energy ball, around it, and at the center of it there is a matter state. The matter state only takes about 1% of the energy ball or energy sphere. The 99% is energy. The energy, it's a kind of dynamic thing. It's a living thing, like a little sun. Mr. Keshe always talk about it. So it's very small, even though you cannot see it, but it is inside it and it's working in this way. So when you drink this water inside your body, and it will immediately interacting with the your original water or materials inside your body, it will have a kind of a vibration. And it will take out or cut off or cutting through all of these the gaps inside your body, the cells, and it will get out of all of these unnecessary waste or poisonous things or things like that. It will get it out of it because of its very high frequency, and then to get it out using different channels out of the body, and this is the one of the way to cleanse out the waste things out of the body, and then it will give more energy to the place that lack of energy, because the plasma, it has a kind of principle that is, if you are lower, the higher one will naturally, without any motor or anything, it will naturally push or give the higher energy to the lower energy and make the lower energy even smoother or higher. So that will be balanced. So in this way, it will make this lower the lower one fuller, and make the surplus getting out of the way, so it's into a kind of a balance, and the body will be okay in this way. I think it's just like what I described, like a two magnet. If the original water in your body is just like only one magnet, so it's have no effect at all. But once you using a different kind of water, which has a different strength level in magnetic and gravitational, it will actually naturally have an interaction. And in this interaction, all of these waste, will be erased out, and energy will be, supplied or supplied. I think like that.
Okay. Gur mentions, he says, as I see it, is that the plasma water feeding is actually nano-coating the inside of our body, which then has nano between the Gans layers instead of matter. And he mentions it also alters the brain's function as a filter component between the soul and the matter-related parts inside the brain, leading to no longer needing matter food when the process is completed. I don't know if you want to agree or disagree or say anything about that, or if we just can leave it like that.
Yeah, maybe his way of understanding is right and correct. I'm also learning this process.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
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 It's Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Go ahead.
How are you? Yeah, fine.
Hi, Paul.
So,
talk about you today.
How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. So, I have something to share about property of Gans and using of Gans for food and feeding ourselves. The first thing I will like, or I will wish for everyone, is to understand deeply the property of the four types of Gans Mr. Keshe have teach to us. In this property, when you see the four Gans, when you take what you call CH3 Gans, you have carbon and hydrogen in it at the level of free atom plasma condition. When you take zinc oxides, you have zinc connected to emulsion, you have oxygen there. When you take CO2, you have carbon and oxygen at free atom. And when you take copper, you have copper and oxygen at the free atom level. Now, when we take CO2 and we apply it in the body of man, the first reaction we get is connection between all cells of body. And then it means that by the Gans of CO2, we get now the secret to put all our cells in interaction. So it means that we have now the wire of our body, the wire of connection of our body, going to the first cell to the end cell of our body. So from there, we know now what is CO2 and what CO2 can bring us or can help us to do. We go to what we call zinc oxide, which can help us to get what we call out of the filter between soul and the physicality of man. So that from there we get the secrets, or we get the bottom to balance the body, to get information from the soul, or to balance the soul to get information from the body. So from these, we get big secrets for human beings. We go now to the CH3. We get carbon and the free atom of hydrogen. So it means that if we apply CH3, the carbon of CH3 will get connection with, like when we are applying CO2, we get connection with all cell of man, all cell of body of man. And then we know that carbon is the line of connection. So hydrogen can now pass because the line of connection is already done. So the energy of hydrogen will pass between all cells of man, of body. At this way, we energize or put interaction all cells of man between CO2 and CH3. So we get now carbon, copper, please, copper oxide. Copper oxide to support the physicality of man. And we have the oxygen, so copper oxide, to connect other elements of a body. So from there, if we understand deeply what Mr. Keshe has teach to us, we have all secrets. And about feeling system, I can say, at my understanding and according to my experience, we do not need to make other Gans from what you call other elements. If we just understand these 4 Gans and apply it at the right moment. There is another step we have to go in deeper with this applying of Gans in man. And this step is some of person or some of people are more emotional. And this person needs to support or to balance his physicality to get the energy he needs. It means that he can only use copper oxide and get balance and live whatever years he wants. We have to understand this, and we have to get what is our position now. And every day, according to the situation, according to the behaviors, we are changing every time. And then from there, every time you have to apply any of Gans in our body, we have to know at which position now I am. It meaning that I should previously know if I need Gans to balance my emotion or my physicality, or do I need full energy, both sides? It is very important, this question. It is very important to get this position before going in applying of Gans. And when we see the different elements, more than 25 elements we have in the body of man, all is connected, and at the end we have only two lines, DNA and RNA. And here we have one Gans connect to the DNA. It meaning that man have the secret to modify his DNA. We have another one connected to the RNA of man. It meaning that we have also the possibility to modify the RNA of man. And then when you see what the food brings for us is only what you call interaction and vibration. Because all things we are eating, we have to ask ourselves one question: where go the energy? And then we need every day to eat. We need every day to drink. It's just because by interaction, we just put it, we just take it, and we just put it back. That's why when Mr. Keshe starts this process of peace for humanity, he says something. And I think it is the secret we already need to be free. He said, you have proton and you have electron in gravity. And if you manage to stop the gravity of electron, you will feed back yourself. The secret is already deep. By our body, by interaction of energy in our body, we are losing and taking. And we can lose more and take small. And this will put us in the problem. Or we have now to find the way when we take one time to keep this energy, like Mr. Keshe, from the heart to the brain, and then from the brain, the infinity loop is settled for man, and then the life is there. And when we see what Mr. Keshe have teach us about death, death means that man cannot take more, or man cannot change or interact with the energy. This is what we call death. And then, if now we understand this, and we understand that applying of Gans is just interaction, vibration we need for ourselves to be able to live, we can only apply these Gans and live years and years. And when she said, if you manage to stop the gravity of electron and feedback you can feedback yourself, it meaning that we can let now the Gans and now concentrate ourselves to see how from the heart and from the brain we can make this infinity loop to be able to survive. So the more important things we have to know here is, what is my position now? Which kind of energy I need now to balance myself? It's not all for Gans you need every time to balance yourself. sometimes you need only one. Only one. So we have to move from what you call by understanding, by experience, to the scientific way to feed ourselves, to get energy to ourselves, to balance ourselves. Is not at the same moment the four type or different type of energy we need. Sometimes only one, and we have to know for our own fitness what type of energy we need. And I will wish everyone try to understand himself, try to understand the different type of energy, the different type of frequency every element can bring him, and then try to apply in scientific way for himself to keep balance. So now we have all already given us. Now, what we are doing with all this kind of information, all this kind of knowledge, are we going again, sleep, and then try to accuse other person, or we have to go in our own understanding, in understanding of our own life, in the scientific way, not to show somebody that we are scientific, no, but to feed ourselves in the scientific way, at the point that we can show by our results what we have understand by using different guns, and then the people can follow us. We have to be the good example. And this good example will not come just by talking. We have to go more further. We have to go in applying, because by experience, by applying, we understand more and more. So when you see the life of man, the life of man tell a lot of things about our own existence. Why do we need to inspire and experience to be able to be in life? If we understand at this point what Mr. Keshe are teaching to us, will be just what we were looking for to get out of what we don't need. Because by inspiration, we just put the button of interaction that Mr. Keshe have teach and every time talk, and we never understand. The body of the man absorbing energy. This is interaction. One kind of interaction. Why our head is in vibration? Just because it gets energy and it again put back this energy out. This is interaction. So the life of man is interaction. Interaction of different fields, interaction of different frequency. And the Gans we have different kind of energy who can help us to get this interaction and to be able to get life forever. We need to understand this. Otherwise, our life will be again and again mystery. We don't need this. we have to put out of us the mystery. We have to understand our life. And by understanding our life, we can help others who didn't understand their life to understand their life. So, please, go in deep about your life. Your life is what Mr. Keshe trying to enlarge us. If you understand your life, you will never get problem to understanding this technology. But if you never understand your life, you can never understand this technology. This technology is essence of life. This technology is teaching the life. This technology is showing us our different interaction in different levels. This is the way of life. This is the file of life. And when Mr. Keshe starts this teaching, I was saying, thank you, Mr. Keshe, because when he just say, if you manage to stop the gravity of electron, you will feed yourself. And he give us also one secret. When the field manage or go at the lower speeds, he manifests himself. And about the retraction of body of man, when our body frequency will be equal to energy, full energy that our soul is delivering, we can appear and disappear where we want. We just need to get balance. And from this, by sleeping, you can see that you are going anywhere in the universe. That's why Mr. Keshe say, your soul never have border. Why the body of man will have border? Just because our understanding of the knowledge will give us the border. So if we want to put out the border to be able to go more in deep, to go where we want to be, what we are, we have to get this balance. We have to be able to understand the filter Mr. Keshe have teach, and we already have the Gans of zinc oxide, like the secret of what you call a filter. So what we need, so your body is for you and your soul is for you. No one will come and do things for you. You have to do things for yourself. The time of other person will come to do things for us is already past. We will have to understand that by different years and lot of years we are waiting for others to come and achieve things for us, and we never get it. Every time we have to do things for us. We have to do things for ourselves. So by this, we can understand when Mr. Keshe says, your soul is your creator, and you have to do things for yourself. You have to stand for yourself, for your life. No one will do things for you. No one. If it was possible, you will not have to go and work and such foods. If it was possible, your body will not demand more energy to be able to be in life. But if every time we need energy to get in balance, we have to understand that no one will do nothing for us. It's just illusion and just waiting time. We have to stand for ourselves. We have to do things for ourselves. This is the way life is going. We are full package of energy, and we have to use this energy in the right way. We have to direct our life according to energy we have. This is the life. Everyone, those who think that they will come and do things for you, have also their own life. Those who think that they are more in advance than you have also worked very hard to get at this point and at this level. The game of wasting time is over. We have to stand for ourselves. We have to protect or to get life. No one will do it for us. So please, don't watch no one. Just understand the principle of life. And the first teacher to understand this is to observe your body, to observe your life. You will understand a lot of things. And just see, we already passed where those like church or others promise us to give us energy, to let us see God. Just take the 4 reactor with the 4 Gans, CH3, copper oxide, zinc, and CO2, and put it on. The energy you will feel is over your understanding. By this, you understand that we already get in our hands the energy, exterior energy we need. Now, when you see we absorb energy from exterior and we have inner energy, we have the secret for exterior energy. Now we need to handle the inner energy to be able to interact and be able to get life. So, by these teachings, we can now put these 2 energy, because you get one coming from outside and one going from inner side. So these 2 get interaction, and this interaction give vibration, give life. This is the life. So we have to concentrate ourselves to understand this and do things to be able to represent the essence of life, and then from there to help others to overcome in the whole where we are. You don't need to go in the church. Just with this 4 reactor, put yourself inside and then let the reactor running.
Hello, Paul. I think we've lost the transmission from Paul there. It's coming through quite loud and clear, which is very unusual for Togo. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hello, Rick.
We just missed the last couple of sentences there. You were very clear before that, which is unusual for your internet. It usually breaks up a lot, but you're coming through clear until just the last couple of sentences. Did you want to wrap up there, or where are you? Can you still talk? I think we might have lost Paul temporarily. Charles, back to you. Did you actually finish your presentation? And perhaps there's some other, we have another person with the presentation, Michael, and we have Shandor also wanted to say something there.
I just wanted to put a very short question to Charles, if he's still available to answer. And I'd like to ask that to anybody who is feeding on plasma water or fields. So they're interesting, the changes of the body, of the physiology, how the functions of the body change, changing the way of feeding. So I only wanted to ask, since feeding for so many months exclusively with liquid plasma and sometimes with such a coconut juice, how the habit of using the toilet have been changed since?
Charles, are you willing to answer that?
We don't need the intimate details of it, just about the frequency. Or,
Charles, you may not know if we can't hear you right now because your microphone is muted.
Yeah.
If you want to unmute, you can speak. Not sure what's happening there. Maybe he's not able to hear us right now. Oh, there he is. Hello, Charles. Hello, Charles. Can you speak? I'm not hearing you. There's might be an issue with your microphone. Not sure what's going on with Charles right now. We can't seem to hear his voice.
Okay, so
his microphone's open.
Let's leave the question pending for when he will be available later.
Now, we do have Michael who wanted to also present something about the liquid plasma experiences he has. We only have about 10 minutes left in our broadcast here. Well, first of all, Paul, are you finished, Paul, or is there more you'd like to add?
Yeah, Rick, I almost finished, and I will wish for everyone understanding and just know how to apply things for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That was a good good explanation you had there. Okay. Charles, are you able to speak yet, or do you wish to? Well, I'm not getting the microphone unmuting, so maybe he's not in a good situation there. Okay. So, Michael, maybe you can tell us your experience briefly here.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Good day, everybody. My name is Michael. I came from China. I want to share some of my experience on how to feeding myself with plasma fields. Not by drinking the plasma water. At first, I want to describe the phenomenon or the change happens on my own body. About 1 year ago, my body weight is about 85 kilograms. And I'm a guy only 170 centimeter tall. So it's but in fact I was very busy every day. I'm not in that time I was running my factories and I have to drive my car 100 miles away in average every day to visit my customers and so on. So even though I'm very busy, I still get a little bit fat. Even though I eat a lot every day, very high calorie foods like animal meat and so on every day, but I still feel that I cannot get satisfied sometimes. Even sometimes after I take my meal, I feel very tired. That's kind of exhausted feelings. It's very strange. It's not all the time. Just sometimes. And from then on, I try to make my own health cup and drink water every day from the cup, just from the cup. At first, I don't see much reaction or effectiveness. And then I just keep on using it and keep on change the design of my car. It takes me about 3 months. Then I found my body weight lost my body weight to about 65 kilograms. It's a big change, I think. Because before that, I have difficult to climbing stairs, and even sitting on my chair, I feel it's not much comfortable because it's too much fat on my belly. But within 3 months, my body weight changes a lot, and it's very good, feel very good. And then what I do is just not just drinking the water, and I also take some snacks like cookies or cakes when I feel hungry, or even though I'm not feel hungry, but I just want to eat something during the daytime, and then I just keep on take only my supper.
Hello? Hello, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, we just lost the last sentence there.
Yes. What I said is that during these 3 months, I'm not only drinking the water. I also took some food. Like during the daytime when I feel hungry or feel I want to eat something, even I'm not hungry. I take some snacks like cookies or cakes and so on. Except that I take only suppers every day. Only with very few foods, very few, not that much, and I feel that it is enough every day. In fact, I can eat nothing. I feel I can feel it, but I can't just do that because of my families. My mother will get worried if I eat nothing. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I only take supper a day during that period, during that time, and that's all what I've done. And I see the change. I lost my weight, and besides that, I have another very big change in my body. In fact, which is that I found out that I became incapable of eating animals, eating meat, which is my favorite before. I can't live. I can't if there's no meat. It's not I feel that I can go. But after I use my health card, I feel that I don't want to eat meat. Even my body refuses it. If I took some meat, I will feel very terrible sometimes, even very terrible feelings. Brings me very terrible feelings. That's a big change. And this change not only happens on my own body, it happens in my family. They all have the same reactions. We are becoming vegetarians now. This is the second phenomenon or change I want to share. And the rest things I want to share with everyone is that the design of my health card, and I think that is very important because I have studied a lot to upgrade my cards to get more to make it more efficiency. And I have been enlightened by a lot of people like Jackie from France, like Douglas, like Alex, and Iris. He has told us how to make food guns. What I have done and what I have to do with my health card is that I put a lot of different ganses into it's a double wall glass cup. First of all, you have to use a glass cup. It's the best choice by far. I have found out. If you use ceramics, this maybe have problem because some people use ceramic cups and drink water from it, and they found out that if they drink hot water from it, it's okay. But if they are trying to drink cold water from it, they will get aches in their bellies or stomachs. It's very strange. I'm not very sure it's because of the ceramics or it's about the ganses they made. I'm not sure, but by far the glass cup is the best choice, I think. And I put a different kind of ganses, not only CO2, the CH3, or zinc oxide, or food gans, fruit gans, vegetable gans. But I have never put any animal gans into it, or what so-called vertical people gans. Horizontal, sorry. And I also put some small crystals, crystal stone, into the bottom of the cup. Of course, between the inner wall and the outer wall, between the inner wall and the outer wall. And I also put a tensor ring, nano-coated tensor ring, like a spiral coil. Well, I don't know how to call it, but just a very simple coils, which has been nano-coated to strengthen the flow. And besides that, I also put a nano-coated copper plate, both side nano-coated copper plate around the cup to cover the whole thing, which is introduced by. That's what I have done before, but recently I have some new research that found a more efficiency structure with this kind of cups, and I want to share with everyone. Is that it's very simple. It's not that complicated. It's just use the star formation in your cup. Just try to use the star formation in your cup. What I have done is that I put three Gans ball on the bottom of the cup, and put a top ball or top reactor on the cover of the cup. This system is very effective. I suggest everyone to try it. And I remember that last week, Ms. Caroline also suggests every people try to connect to star formation and try to experience it, because it can connect to our soul. In fact, I think not I think. In fact, I have tested this structure for about 2 months, and it's far more strong than the cup than the cup I have used before. So I just want everyone know that, and just try it. It's very effective. And the Gans which I have used, it's very important that you not only use the Gans of CO2 or CH3 or zinc oxide, you also need to put some amino acid. And besides that, it's very important to put some hemoglobin, the iron part hemoglobin and the zinc part of hemoglobin. You should put in. It's very effective. They will give the feeling of satisfied. You don't feel hungry if you drink such water. You don't feel hungry. You don't feel you need to eat. Even you feel that that's the feeling that is very satisfied. You can eat more. You can take more. That's what I feel many times. If I feel hungry, my belly will give a sound like a glu glu, and even sometimes even aches. Even if I am too hungry, but when I use this when I drink water from these cups, I don't have that feels. Besides that, I feel very satisfied. It's like the feeling that you can eat more, you can drink more. That's the feeling. The other things I want to share is that this kind of cup is not only for drink. It's not only for drinking waters. You can also breathe the air from it. In fact, this air is very effective for some kind of illness. For some kind, I don't know how to say it, like the rhinitis is very effective. It's not you just breathe the air from the cup, and after several minutes, you have find out that you got cured, or you got the illness just disappeared. It's very effective. And not only this, you can also use this like kind of cup like a health pen, even though they are not all the same. It's different in structures, but you can, if you feel not good, you can just hold this cup with two hands in your palm. Just hold it and wish it to cure your body for you, or just relieve your pains or uncomfortable. I wish you that those bad feelings, just try to remove it. This also works. And another method to use this cup is that I have tried this several times. A couple of days ago, my knees aches very heavily because the aircon. I opened the aircon for entire night, and the second day I feel that my knees ache so much that I even cannot walk anymore. So my wife just put her hand, her left hand, on my knees, and the right hand just hold the cup. About 55 to 20 minutes, it feels much better, and I feel that the aches is nearly gone. Then we do this twice. The second day I do it another time, and it's totally gone. My knees has cured, totally cured. I think that's all that I want to share today. If anyone has a question, I'm very glad to answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're running a bit over here, but if there are any questions that we can quickly answer, maybe we can address them now. Does anyone have any questions about that? It's quite clear explanation, I thought. But I'm not sure if, Charles, do you want to wrap up what you were presenting, or is there somebody else that wants to tie this together at the end here?
Are you asking me or asking Charles?
Well, I was asking Charles if he wanted to say anything, because it was his presentation originally that sparked this off. So I thought maybe he might want to say something at the end here to wrap it up, but I guess not. But if you want to say something, you can. I think Is there anyone else that wants to say something at this point? Or
Well,
shall we wrap it up?
Oh, sorry. Then.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Libby, Michael, and we asked Charles a question, but he couldn't come back, so maybe we can ask you the question. Did you notice a difference in your elimination system once you started doing this?
What system? Pardon. What system?
The elimination system, the bowel and the urinary. Did you pee more? Did you pee less? Did you find that your body waste left you more easily, or did you notice any change in your, we'll call it your digestive elimination system? It was a question we wanted to find out from Charles, but
okay, I'm back.
Oh, good. Sorry. Okay, and Charles.
Yeah, I understand your question. Let me answer you this question. I have a very clear impression. At one is the first experience in 2015, and the other is the first half of my experience of this year. I have more than 15 days, I think nearly 20 days without the big number. How to say that? And but every day you will have urine. That's very normal. But if you do not eat anything, just drinking water, you will have no feces. You will not have big number. But these days, because I continue eat fruit or smoothies, and it started normally. I think two days one time. I think something like that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have heard of Mr. Keshe about Spaceship program. So if people would leave Earth and go to into the deep space with spaceships, so probably first they lose their digestive system because they are not needed, because they feed directly from fields. But in case of Spaceship, the fields will not be released from inside the body, like with the plasma water, but there will be systems probably which will be able to give that from outside. So one of the possible ways.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So probably more people will try to use this system, and I'm thinking also to those who are suffering of colon problems or issues, and they have difficulties to find the proper diet. So maybe such a switching to liquid plasma feeding, they can get relief from their sufferings.
Sure.
Thank you very much for your great presentation.
Thank you, everybody. We learned a lot today.
Yes, yes, it was very good. Thank you all. Okay, I think we probably should wrap it up now. We're running a bit over, so I think that's okay, but we probably should wrap it up. So unless there's any big disagreements, let's call it a day for the Blueprint for Peace for Humanity for Day 5. It's Friday, July 7th, 2017. And this was the afternoon session. And as always, thank you everybody for attending. And we hope to see you. We'll be back again on Monday, I believe, at the 10 a.m. Central European time. And we'll have likely a morning afternoon session on Monday and carry on through the weekdays of next week. Okay, let's end the live stream.